Are you ready for the 2-browser challenge? That's today's idea of the day. If you've been following my channel, one of the recurring themes that comes up every now and then is the concept of algorithms and how they're being used on the internet to essentially try to figure out what you want, and based on what they think you want, suggest things that are similar to it. Case in point, if you're on Facebook and you react to a bunch of friends' videos or posts about conservatism, after a while, Facebook will essentially think you're interested in conservative principles, and you'll get a lot more conservative posts as opposed to liberal posts. If they see you posting or clicking share, like, or comment on videos and posts about cats, they know you like cats. So you'll see more cats than the typical person, or at least a typical person who has a dog, for example. Although there's kind of a gray area where a lot of people who like cat videos like dog videos, so they might show you some dog videos if you like cats and vice versa. But as a rule of thumb, if you're a conservative, you'll see a lot of posts that are conservative as opposed to liberal posts and vice versa. So where am I going with this? What today's video is going to talk about is a little bit of a challenge, a science experiment that you might want to try yourself. I call it the 2-browser challenge. The 2-browser challenge is this. Find a browser that you're not using. If you're using Chrome today, I want you to download Firefox and vice versa. So basically, I want you to have 2 browsers. Maybe it's, if you have a Mac, you're going to have Safari. Point there is I want you to take the 2 browsers and start them off with essentially a clean slate. And you can do that through your settings, but if you're downloading a new one, it's already got a clean slate. So you take your 2 browsers, and I want you to erase the history. Just erase the history. Now, you have 2 browsers, browser A and browser B. Again, it could be Firefox and Chrome, it could be Safari and Firefox, or Chrome, whatever it is. You get your 2 browsers, and I want you to memorize which one is which. So that, and I want you to go in again with 2 fresh browsers and always use browser A for a week to visit conservative websites. Maybe it's Fox, maybe it's whatever. Just find yourself some Newsmax, whatever it is. Find some conservative websites, and then go out, and I want you to use the second browser, browser B, and find an opposing bunch of websites and visit them. Maybe, I don't know, find a bunch of sites that you're interested in, NPR or whatever. Basically, in my case, I can have Conservative Joe and Liberal Joe browsers. And for that week, just visit a bunch of those things and one and versus the other. Now, what you're going to find is that your perspective from both browsers within a couple of days will reflect which browser you're using. When you go to Facebook, and of course it kind of gets a little wonky with Facebook because it has a lot of history already there, but if you actually could create a second Facebook account, you'd see this in just even bigger levels. But the point is, when you start looking at social media accounts with browser A, Conservative Joe, versus B, Liberal Joe, you're gonna see totally different stuff. Your opinions of the news itself will be subject to 2 different algorithms, because as far as they're concerned, you are 2 different people. On browser A, you are Conservative Joe. You're going to see just conservative content after a while, and you're going to start to think of the world as, wow, why are those liberals up to this or that? And when you're using browser B, your liberal browser, you're going to look at all kinds of stuff, even when you're not visiting those kinds of sites. You'll see ads for liberal causes. You'll see totally different content. I mean, like I said, even the ads are going to be different on Liberal Joe's browser versus Conservative Joe's, and vice versa. And the whole point of this here is to just give you a little bit of perspective as to what you really do see in whatever browser profile you already have. Because you may or may not be aware of it, but there are people, your decisions within your browser are influencing, and it snowballs. As you visit conservative sites, you're going to see conservative ads, and you're going to follow links to other conservative spots. And if you're into liberal sites, you're going to see a lot of liberal stuff. And again, it goes beyond that. If you're into gaming, of course, you're going to see nothing but gaming stuff all over the place, whatever those things are. But if you actually just were to have 2 different browsers, and you looked at life within one little world for a few days, after a while, even if you're not intentionally trying to follow the conservative path or the liberal path, you're going to end up following it anyway, because you're going to get that confirmation bias. The browsers and the search engines and your social media accounts are going to start spoon feeding you content that they think matches that profile. So your liberal Joe browser is going to start seeing a lot more liberal posts than it would have in conservative Joe. So that's the two browser challenge. I challenge you to try it and see how it turns out yourself. And what I really want you to do, whether you try it or not, is just understand that what you think of as being real and being important and being special to you is through filtered lenses. Everything you're watching on social media and on the internet as a whole is being filtered. And although there's no conspiracy theory going on here, because the person who's actually creating the filters isn't some guy in a big tower somewhere. It's you. It's you. You're creating your own filters, because every time you're doing something, you are feeding Google and Facebook and all these different social media systems, LinkedIn, etc. You're feeding them what you like, and they're feeding you more of it back. And you're not seeing the other side. So, be aware of it at least. And take the challenge if you dare. And that's today's idea of the day. All right. So that's today's idea of the day. I hope you liked it. If you visit ideaoftheday.com, you'll see a new one every day. Every day. Yeah, some of them don't suck. And don't forget to subscribe. And you can see them here every day. Brand new one. And some of my videos don't suck either.